Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
This is Daniel Ives of Wedbush. First of all, rocking it out of Las Vegas with Aston Martin. For those of you on radio, he's got the real jacket on, like the kind that Lance Alonso wear and all that. What in Formula One, with all the excitement, Apple taking over the broadcast, Cadillac coming in next year, when you're in the pit like you were, what's the thing that you don't know when you watch on TV?
I mean, my experience with F1, I think the thing that people don't realize is not just how loud it is, but especially like when you're in there and you actually have like the headphones on and you hear them talking to the drivers, just the complexity. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's really amazing.
Did you change a tire?
I did, but I will tell you at Indy 500, I came close to almost changing a tire.
Okay. Dan Ives with
Investors can own it, Tom.
Security.
Liberty Media. You can own Formula One. FWONK is the ticker.
Perfect.
Liberty Media. You can own it as a public investor.
Why is Apple doing that? Explain. Just go tangential. Paul's dying to get to Nvidia and the Google thing and all that. Why is Apple doing Apple TV? It's called Dad TV because no one watches it. They got some product out. They've had some successes. But why waste their time on that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's all about where they're ultimately going to take this. I mean, in the future, and we'll see as Apple ultimately goes down the path with Gemini and in terms of the AI future, they need to have as wide of a content lens as possible. And I think when you look at Apple TV, it's all part of, the quality speaks for itself. Quantity's been the issue. But for them, it's just they're going to continue to have irons in the fire. That's what they're going to do.
The TV show Pluribus, it's a sci-fi thing. Yeah. She's home all alone. Everybody around her is like a droid. Okay. She's watching surveillance. It was great.
Fantastic.
Why don't you get to Nvidia right now, Paul?
So, Dan, the AI story here took a little bit of a turn over the last couple of days here. Meta placing a big chip order with Google, further calling into question the position or the dominance position of Nvidia. Give us your thoughts about that whole thing.
Look, Google TPU, and especially with Broadcom and TSMC as the builder, that's been around for over a decade, right? So it's not that it's new per se. I think the issue comes down to demand and supply for NVIDIA chips are 12-1. So the reality is that
to supply of NVIDIA chips 12-1. Wow.
So look, when you look at Meta, they're not going to be able to get everything they need from NVIDIA. So they got to look outside. When you look what Google has, I'd say it's probably 3 to 4 years behind where NVIDIA is. But again, on some certain instances, it could be good enough. And look, that's where we're going. I mean, the reality is when it comes to AMD, when it comes to big tech, eventually you're going to see Apple, you're going to see Meta, you're going to see Microsoft. They'll build their own chips as well. But there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. That's NVIDIA.
So that's kind of how I thought about it yesterday. I was kind of surprised to see the sell-off in NVIDIA because my thought was, all I hear from guys like you and technology folks coming in here is that the demand for AI is just, I'm not going to say insatiable, but boy, it's outstripping supply for sure. And you got to get what you can get when you can get it. Look,
just spending 3 weeks in Asia, I mean, we've seen demand accelerate 30% in the last 6 months for AI. So it comes down to it's easy to call, say AI is a bubble in the spreadsheet or in the 25th floor of the New York City office building. But when you actually see what's happening there, look, only 3% of enterprise in the US have gone down the AI path. None in Europe. Asia, ex-China, and now you're seeing sovereigns in Middle East. And for the first time in 30 years, U.S. is ahead of China when it comes to tech.
You're a pinata on Wall Street. People love to go after you on Twitter. It's the close, it's the act, and all that. Underneath it, we know, folks, not only Dan Ives, but Wedbush, there's some prodigious tech chips, like going to Asia, like actually walking in a factory, find out what's going on. Here's the reality for our listeners, our viewers worldwide. April 3, a leading newspaper just reporting the news. Apple shares fell more than 9% in response to the president's plan for steep tariffs on products made abroad, led a sharp sell-off in tech stocks, which is loaded with technology. OMG, April 3rd sank nearly 6%. Apple is up 65%, printing 280 yesterday. How do our listeners and viewers digest the news and the day-to-day panic and yet stay on board this historic American path?
Look, and we've talked about so much on the show over the years, right? I mean, the reality is that there's no bigger consumer install base in the world than Apple. 2.4 billion iOS devices, 1.5 billion iPhones. And it comes down, besides just the cash generating machine, everything that we see in services, when you look at the AI revolution, okay, they've watched it from the stands so far, but now they're about to get into the field and actually do it and monetize the install base. The consumer AI revolution comes through Apple. And I think that's something that we're going to see with Google partnership and others. And Tom, I just continue to view it as like $75 to $100 per share incremental will be added to Apple for AI. And that's my view. Like they've and also look at this iPhone 17. It's been a surprise upgrade cycle that no one expected.
With Gemini, is Apple under less pressure to do something? This whole do something?
I'd say more pressure, but they couldn't do it till Google ultimately won the DOJ suit. Once they won the DOJ suit, that's where the candlelight dinner between Sundar and Cook start. And I think that ultimately is now where that's tracking to what can be a deal that couldn't have been until they won that deal. And I think that's where they're going to go. They're not buying Perplexity. Right. They're going with Google. They're going to go down, bet heavily on them.
Dan Ives with Wedbush with us here on a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. As you get ready to travel, the horde comes over to the house. We say good morning. All the different ways you listen to us. Thank you for discovering Bloomberg's surveillance in 2025. We'll be here Friday. Paul Sweeney, your people, it was a big argument, wasn't it? I mean, your people went back and forth on this. But we'll be here Friday after Thanksgiving. Paul?
Dan, talk to us about Meta a little bit. I think that's one of the ones the market's unsure of as it relates to the AI play there. Stock's down about 20% from its recent high, so some concerns there. How do you position that?
It's a table pounder buy because the reason that stock's off is because Zuck right now, wartime CEO, focused on increasing CapEx over the next year in this arms race, and you're seeing obviously pressure in terms of earnings and cash flow. But that's what you want to see them do. You were talking about monetizing the AI revolution over the coming years, the 3 billion users that they basically have when it comes to their consumer ecosystem. And that's the smart move. I think right now, investors, it's very easy knee-jerk with the bury, the AI bubble, all the worries. The reality is that there's 2 more years at least left in this tech bull market. You're in year 3 of an 8 to 10 year build out. And it's truly a fourth industrial revolution. I think Meta is going to be proven that this is the right move, what they're doing.
In the zeitgeist this weekend is the partition that, yes, we appear to be using AI for search stuff. And Paul Sweeney the other day goes, should I go with Ocean Spray Cranberry or something homemade? That kind of stuff. Or like task-driven AI. When do you perceive America makes the shift to a more sophisticated use of AI?
Yeah, it's a great question. But today it's enterprise. I mean, the reality is the consumer AI revolution hasn't started. ChatGPT, and we see that. But it's all enterprise. I mean, the spending we're talking about called the next 2 to 3 trillion is just enterprise. When it talks about consumer, it's autonomous, humanoid robotics. It's the future of the consumer.
I don't want a goddamn robot to make my cranberry sauce.
Listen,
that's what's happening.
Again, and I continue to make the call. Keene will be in a robotaxi in New York City.
I saw one the other day. I thought it was Ed Ludlow.
And again, you never know. It could be Ludlow.
So, all right, let's go to that robotics and all that kind of stuff, because that's kind of the story behind Tesla these days. It's not about bending steel and making cars and things like that. So the stock's up 4% year to date, so it's really lagging the market. It's come back from, I guess, the biggest concerns where we were several months ago. But when you talk to your institutional investor clients, what are they telling you about Tesla?
It's all about the future. I believe autonomous and ultimately Optimus Robot will be the most important chapter ever in Tesla's growth story. And I think now Musk being wartime CEO, having the comp package, potentially $1 trillion man, this will now define Tesla. And I also think you're going to see a regulatory roadmap that's going to ease when it comes to autonomous. specifically on the robotaxi build out. You're going to have 30, 35 cities. And I think Waymo is basically going to be a rounding error relative to where I see Tesla.
Let's go to our 3 radio stations. Good morning, 92.9 FM Boston, 99.1 FM Nathan Hager Radio in Washington. Here, Bloomberg 1130. How does a robotaxi get across the Charles River right by MIT? How does you turn left there, it's sport. How does a robotaxi get around DuPont Circle? How does a robotaxi get down Fifth Avenue right outside the Trump Tower? I don't get it.
Look, I mean, if you look, it's data driven. I mean, the reality is that
is there proof of concept that they can handle normal urban traffic?
Everything I've seen, and obviously we've been there in Austin, you're going to continue to see it expand, across, many cities over the next few months. I believe we're there. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to see the geofence area continue to expand, but it's my view, next few years, 20% of cars on the road, whether it's New York City, whether it's Boston, whether it's Chicago, you're going to look around and you're not going to see a driver.
Enough chat. What's your single best buy right now? Is it Meta or is it something different?
I mean, to me, single best buy right here is Microsoft, relative to what we see in terms of the stock.
Why is it down?
Because the view that now Google, now Amazon, others on the hyperscale are going to sort of eat their lunch. Look what's happened to Oracle as well. Look, New York City cab driver was bearish on Alphabet and Google to start the year. Today, they're bearish on Microsoft, and I think that's why that has a $100 upside.
On Microsoft, just is one example. Are they open AI? What's his name? Sam Altman?
Sam Altman, yeah.
Are they down because they're affiliated with Sam Altman?
I think just like Oracle, there's that too big to fail concept, right? Where anyone that touches OpenAI, that's ultimately been an overhang. But it comes down to that would be like me being like, okay, if I could have more Peter Luger steak, would I have it, or would I rather own White Castle?
With the Amex you got at Wedbush, you got to be going Peter.
Again, you got to go Lugers. But the reality is that OpenAI, it's the Peter Lugers of technology. You want to be associated with it, not associated.
For those of you on YouTube, the interns are in our ears. We got these holiday interns, and Sweeney's intern is from Penn State. I'm shocked.
We are.
Nobody cares.
We are.
Paul, Dan, Penn State. Go, Paul.
Who's going to be the coach, do you think?
I mean, look, I think we'll see it probably Monday.
Oh, okay.
That was that soon.
I continue to think it's either Chesney from JMU.
Yeah, he's had a great year.
Or there could be a mystery candidate that we'll see how that emerges over the coming days. So I think
there could be a mystery candidate.
A mystery candidate.
Chapel Hill.
No. Please. We better days are ahead for Penn State after a dark year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I ask, you're such a hitter and you're so F1. Next time you go to F1, take young John Farrow with you.
Look,
first of all, I played the game. John viscerally gets
the
it.
reason I got into F1, it was Netflix and Farrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I mean, he wears he's like head to toe in Ferrari.
Sure. I mean,
That's
how you roll.
The whole thing.
That's the kids are doing.
When's your next F1 you're going to?
I mean, I have a few, but a few on the docket. Middle East and some other ones.
Nice.
Dan Ives, thank you. Too extended a conversation. A lot of good information there with his single best buy, the gentleman from Microsoft.